Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and the video I did this morning about being comfortable with yourself. When I turned around and did my back, I actually snapped a screenshot of that, which I will put up for you guys here. A lot of people noticed my back in that. People have noticed that my back has grown since I started my meat prep, and a lot of people ask me what my back routine looks like. And I will give you guys kind of what I do for my back, but I don't want you guys to think that there's a special secret to my exercise selection that gives me that back thickness that I have outside of the squats and the deadlifts. And it's because people in the bodybuilding world, and I'm not including myself, for some reason people keep thinking when I say that I'm saying I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not a bodybuilder. People in the body world have these weird ideas about hypertrophy. They seem to think that there is some special magical secret to hypertrophy rather than everything making muscles grow. Because the truth is, everything makes muscles grow. If you do a lift that doesn't stimulate all the heads of a muscle correctly, it still causes growth in the heads that don't get stimulated. And that blows a lot of people's minds, but it is true. They still grow. Even if they get secondary stimulation, there's still growth there. It just may not be optimal unless you do enough workload that it does push them to that point. Muscles will grow very effectively as long as rest and nutrition are adequate from doing high reps, from doing low reps, from doing full range of motion, from doing partial range of motion, even from heavy static contractions. All of these things stimulate muscle growth, and this is one of the reasons that I try to tell people that squats and particularly deadlifts stimulate the lats. They are part of the reason I have a big, thick back. And I will get people, and you see people who want to argue this, but these are people who have a freshman level understanding of exercise science. They do not have a proper understanding of the way muscles are stimulated during growth. They do not have an understanding of how different muscle groups always contract and work in unison, even when they're not primary movers, that there can still be very, very large amounts of motor unit activation and contraction and involvement from muscles that are not primary movers in a movement. And anytime you have hip extension, the lats become heavily involved. And if you're squatting and dead, sorry, I got interrupted by a phone call in the middle of filming. Which, again, guys, this is one of the reasons you see so many cuts. My phone rings and I have so much noise outside where I live. That's another reason I have to cut these videos all the time. I will sometimes have 5 or 6 different horn honks from a car outside that I have to clip out in a single 4-minute video. So let me get back to this. I lost my train of thought. So back to squats and deadlifts and lat involvement. But the reality is there is a heavy load with hip extension there and the lats become involved. And people will say, well, even with the deadlifts, there is actually some primary movement involved. It's just that it's a very short range of motion partial for the back with the deadlift. But if you look at a deadlift, you see the arms move and the lats actually have to pull just like almost a pullover motion when you're coming out of the hole. Once you get the weight started out of the hole, well, if you're using 500 or 600 pounds, that's a lot of weight on your lats that they are helping assist with through a short range of motion. And we've seen this over and over. We've taken novice lifters for sports and you have them start doing heavy squats and deadlifts. Their lats grow visibly without doing anything else. And in fact, their biceps usually grow a little bit from the deadlift. And I'm not saying a deadlift can replace a curl because it can't, but it does stimulate some bicep growth because it is heavy static contraction work, which still stimulates some growth. So what do I do right now as far as my meat prep? I've been in meat prep for something like 10 weeks, 9 weeks. I have only done 4 sets of barbell rows during that time, and my back has gotten bigger. I did 4 sets of pen leg rows with 3 to 5 reps during that entire time. That's all I've done for rows. What I do is I squat 6 days a week. I deadlift sometimes 3 to 4 days a week. I've been doing, during my meat prep, I have not gone over about 4 reps on everything. Everything has been 4 reps or less. Very low volume, high frequency. But I also do every single day, every day, I do either chin-ups or pull-ups or weighted chin-ups and pull-ups. And for me, my pull-ups are just the parallel grip. This way is what I'm calling a pull-up, and a chin-up is obviously overhand grip, supinated grip. Those are the only real back lifts I do, and outside of face pulls. So that is basically what I have done to put that extra meat on my back during the last 10 weeks, which obviously has been YouTube natty. But that is effectively what I do. Very, very low volume, high frequency, heavy weight, other than the occasional 10 or 12 rep chin-ups. It's been 4 rep or less squats, deadlifts, weighted pull-ups, weighted chin-ups, and then face pulls with bands, which I do for my rotator cuffs and rear delts. That's effectively what I've done for my back there. So hopefully that clarifies that, and that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go.